In this video, I'm going to go ahead and discuss how to effectively fish areas where there are pinch points. And what that means is there's usually two areas of land that get closer together, and then you have a narrow strip of water or a cut that goes through there, and it makes a really great ambush point for predator fish because you have pretty much a funnel effect. You have water coming in, you have bait flushing through an area like that. And I pulled up an example over here near Crystal River. As you can see, you have a lot of islands in an area like this, so you're going to have a lot of areas where you're going to have those pinch points where two areas of land come close together, such as this one right here, and then you'll have an area for water to come in and out that creates that sort of funnel. And you'll notice when you zoom into areas like this, you're usually going to see a little bit of a deeper cut that goes right through the middle just because of the amount of water that's forced through there. Usually dredges out the bottom, pushes the sand away, and you pretty much have nice hard bottom exposed. And this spot in particular looks like you might have a deeper hole right there as well, which can help that area be a little bit more productive. So as far as positioning goes in an area like this, there is pretty much a textbook answer to this, but there is also sort of an out-of-the-box type of response as well. Because with fishing, not everything is textbook. Sometimes you have to change your tactics depending on the conditions and depending on what the fish are more responsive to. So the general textbook answer, if you are fishing a pinch point like this, when you have current flowing in or out, let's say for example let's say the current is flowing from left to right, so it's going into this little cove or bay right here. Now if you're fishing with artificial lures, general rule of thumb, you want to be facing into the current, casting your lures up current and retrieving them back to you with the flow of the current, because typically those fish are going to be facing into the current and they're going to be ambushing prey that's coming at them. So with artificial lures, again, you want to be facing into the current, retrieving them with the flow of the current. Now it's just the opposite if you're using live bait. Let's say again the current was going from left to right. You would want to be positioned out here facing into the direction the current's flowing. So you want to be facing the same direction that the current's flowing. So if the current's flowing from left to right, you want to be positioned out here facing into that cut where the water is going through. And what you want to do is cast your live baits out there towards the cut and let the water drift them through the cut and out to the other side. And if you don't get any strikes, reel it back in, do the same thing, cast it out, let it drift with the flow of the current. Now you can also do this with cut bait. If you have cut bait, just throw it out there, pretty much free line it on a bare circle hook, no weight, just cast it out there and let the current drift it through that cut. It'll bounce along the bottom, or if the current's really strong, it might drift it right in the middle of the water column, just drifting it right down through a cut like that. And if there's any fish nearby, they'll definitely pick it up because they're sitting there waiting for food to come by. Now with artificials as opposed to live or cut bait, with artificials you can kind of fish either way. You can cast into the current or you can cast with the flow of the current depending on really the wind. That's what I take into consideration when I am fishing areas with current flowing through them, is the wind. If the wind is really strong and it's really hard to cast against the wind to get a good cast, I'll cast in the opposite direction. I want that wind at my back so I can make a nice long cast. And also you can fish those artificials like live bait if you need to. You can let them drift down through the cut and just give them a couple bounces every now and then. Make sure you have a light enough weight that they're not sitting on the bottom and getting stuck, that they're kind of just floating around, drifting with the current, and then you can just pop them every now and then just to give them a little bit of life, and that can definitely draw a strike as well. Just in case you have the wind going against you, you can face the other way, cast with the flow of the current, let that lure drift down with the flow of the current, just like you would with live or cut bait. And that's pretty much the out-of-the-box thinking when it comes to fishing pinch points like this where you have water flowing through. Again, with artificials, you can really fish it either way. You can face into the direction that the current's coming from, or you can be facing down current and letting your artificial move with the current and just popping it every now and then to draw a strike. And with live bait, you generally want to be fishing with the flow of the current, letting that bait go down with the flow of the current. because what happens is if you cast a live bait or cut bait out and you have the current coming at you, after you cast it out, 10 seconds later your bait's going to be right next to the boat. So again, that's why when you're fishing live or cut bait, definitely want that current going away from you towards the target area so it can bring your bait or live bait or cut bait to that target zone. Now, if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more in-depth spot breakdowns showing exactly where and how to fish certain areas based on the time of year, tides, weather, and all other sorts of variables that come into play, definitely be sure to check out our Salt Strong Insider Club, where we guarantee you'll start catching more inshore fish in less time. So until then, thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.